Hello, and welcome to the University of Nebraska-Omaha Theater. Tonight is the last dress rehearsal of our first spring production, Men on Boats by Jacqueline Bacchus. As it is the last dress rehearsal, we wanted to give you a look into how we do things here backstage. So today, we're going to take you on a brief tour of some of our backstage areas, including makeup, props, and the sound and lighting booth, as well as a brief interview with our director and a sneak peek at the upcoming show. My name is Adam Rutherford, so join me as we examine our upcoming production of Men on Boats. Next to me is our makeup and dressing rooms, where our talented performers put on their makeup and costumes for the productions. Stage makeup tends to differ from your traditional store makeup and doesn't exactly look like what you'd expect. It's meant to be seen from long distances and read differently on stage. So why don't we take a look and see what our actors are doing and get ready. Hello.
Hi, Adam.
I am filming footage.
Cool.
Hello. How goes the makeup application?
Good. You caught me.
I caught you.
I look atrocious right now. But I will look like a man pretty soon. I already look like a man. Built for bugs. Why am I stupid? I'm built for that.
Did you bring down the clothes upstairs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Who wants to tell me about the process?
Not me. Someone more experienced.
So first I put on base, and then for contour, I get my little below the cheeks. I get my nose. Are you zooming in? I get my little nose and then like in the eye, and then I haven't gotten this part, but I get my temples, and then I have to contour my forehead, and then for the highlight, you gotta do your cheeks. And then you gotta do what else was it? Your little. No, I already did my nose. You can tell. And then you have to do above your eyebrows. And then.
I've been contemplating.
Did you get them with them?
And then. Under the eyes as well. And then you take this color and you tint your lips a little bit. And then you get changed and you look like a weird. Huh? And then you have blush on your cheeks.
So how does stage makeup differ from regular store brand makeup?
So, oh god, I didn't know I was gonna get interviewed. Oh my gosh. It's different because the lighting, if you wear normal makeup and you're in like lights, it like kind of washes you out rather than like specific stage makeup, which is your skin color but like a shade darker, and you want to really bring out your
as the skin layer.
like the contour, and you want to bring out the facial structures so you can be seen from like far away, because you have bright lights and different like shades of lights on you. So if you have just like regular makeup or no makeup, you can get washed out easily. I think I did it.
We don't want any morphing face. We don't want shape shifting. You need to have a definite structure, otherwise it's gonna look really weird.
Reflected the light really, really weird. So we have them do a sneak
Head of wardrobe.
Hello.
How goes heading the wardrobe?
I mean, everyone's here and doing amazing jobs, so I'm just here to answer questions and eventually braid some hair. So.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of, are you ready?
Yeah. I've been ready whenever you want. Cool.
Okay,
See you later, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So, tell us a little bit about what you do here and how you do it.
I'm the ASM, and technically for the show, I'm in charge of props. So what I do is I keep track of everything through each scene, and I write down all of their set changes, not set changes, but preset positions for the top of the show so that they're in the correct spot so that the actors can grab them. And I kind of just make sure everything gets done in a timely fashion and at the right time on the SM's cue, which is Alyssa, who's amazing.
Do you have any favorite props?
Oh gosh, what is my favorite prop? Yes, I do. This is our snake puppet. It's my favorite. Basically, Aaron gets to play with it, and then it goes, strike. But yeah, that's my favorite prop. We have 3 snakes, actually, in the show, and only one of them is movable, but...
Can we get a close-up?
Of the snake?
Of the snakes.
Danielle did this, and she did an amazing job. She painted it to look like the other snakes we have as well. Mm-hmm. And she just did a really good job. You should also check out the fish that she did.
Where are the fish?
She painted the fish. They are already in position, so we're going to take a road trip.
We like road trips.
Road trip, road trip.
Anything you want to introduce us to while we're backstage?
There's the bench.
It's a bench.
It's a bench. It's a really good bench, and you'll see it in the show when you come. If this is going to people who come to shows. But we have, yes, this lovely fishing line, and Danielle hand painted all of these fish. Mm-hmm. And she did a really amazing job. This is also one of my favorite props. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And of course, it's not a show about boats if you don't got oars. And this one's almost as tall as me.
Wow. How tall are you?
5'4". Exactly. Almost exactly.
So it's about a little under 5 feet, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. What would you say 8 inches? It looks like, I'm going to guess these are 4'9".
Somewhere in there, yeah.
I had a friend who was 4'10", so I'm going to base it off that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, we do have gun props in the show, correct?
We do. Would you like me to pull one out?
Yes.
Awesome. We have 2 guns. One that Sumner carries on and then places on their stage right ramp with the other one. And in the show, Sumner uses one to signal to Dunn and the others that they have made it to safety. And the other is given to Dunn and the others for if they made it to safety so that they could signal off to the other people in the group. Which, when you see the show, you'll know what happens. But this is one of them. It has this strap that's tied on. The other one looks a little bit more technical, more gun-like, but this one's pretty awesome. This is the one that Sumner uses.
Looks great.
Awesome. And the coffee pot, which I'm going to do a little spoiler alert. One of the characters gets to beat the snake puppet over the head with this coffee pot, and it is probably one of the funniest scenes in the entire show.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it then.
Woo!
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, booth people. How goes the boothing?
Oh boy, we're having a blast.
You sound so thrilled. We're supposed to be marketing the show.
Marketing, we're having a blast actually. We're just waiting for pre-show to finish up, getting ready for curtain.
So tell me what goes on in the booth.
What goes on in the booth is,
Pure magic.
well,
How so? Explain.
I mean,
the
this
magic.
is where the magic happens. All the lights, all the sound, the smoke. Alyssa, who's not with us right now, is making all that happen, calling all of our cues, and she's keeping us on the straight and narrow, keeping us running smoothly.
Awesome. How do things work? What are the different equipments?
well, we hear, for example, this is the sound area we have over here, as well as the camera area where we can watch what happens and time our cues correctly. We have the soundboard, just a simple click of a space bar and just allows the cues to play.
How many sound cues are there?
There are in total 462.
Is that all?
You say that. But our stage manager does such a fantastic job calling them all. So it's easier. It's very easy to do that way. And then we have the light board over there.
This is our light board. This is how we get all of our fancy blackouts, our transition lights, our haze, and so we can make sure we can see all of our cast's lovely faces. That green button right there with the triangle is how we make our cues go. Did that happen?
No.
Okay.
How many light cues are there?
There are 185 light cues.
Ah. So it's not as difficult to sound.
It is because, we're sitting in locations for a while, and, not every location needs 100 light cues to itself.
Yeah.
There are some really tricky bits, though, like the waterfall sequences, which you'll see later.
Yeah, I don't think the waterfall sequence is as difficult as the hundreds of lefts that we have at the end of
Not
the show.
for you guys.
But
But for us, because we don't have any light cues during that section,
that's fair.
The
I'm only talking about
waterfalls-
sound here, but
the waterfalls are big for Alyssa.
right.
But Alyssa's been absolutely amazing,
Mm-hmm.
keeping herself and us on top of the game.
Oh yeah.
And who are you, mysterious stranger?
Hi, I'm Brandon Dorsey. I am the assistant sound designer.
How should we introduce ourselves?
No, it's okay.
Yeah, is there anything else we may say? I don't know.
I don't know. What do you want to say? What was it like working on the show? Did you have fun?
It was a lot of fun. Christy was a very relaxed person to work with. She was a great teacher. I learned a lot from her. It was a lot of fun, honestly.
I see the PSDS.
Awesome. Joining me now is the director of Men on Boats. I'm pleased to introduce Emily Rowley. Thank you for joining me for this interview.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to.
How are you today?
Good. Yeah, excited to move into our near final dress, and all of the pieces are coming together.
Yeah. So, basic questions. Can you tell us a little bit about the show?
How long do you have? No. Yes, I can tell you so much about the show. In a brief synopsis, it is based on John Wesley Powell's journey down what we call the Grand Canyon in 1869. But when Jacqueline Backus, the playwright, was writing the story and was interested in this great expedition with this very diverse cast of characters, she realized she was not writing roles for herself or people like her, and so she reframed the whole idea of telling the story that is largely cis white men, but keeping the story and then making sure the casting was women, femme, trans, non-binary actors. So it's the journey of this band of explorers, adventurers down the Grand Canyon, but sort of history through a different lens because we flip it because of the bodies in those particular roles.
Mm-hmm. And we're not trying to hide that the actors are non-male presenting.
Correct. Yeah. We're not trying to hide it in costumes. We're not, putting anyone in a strange mustache or facial hair.
Yeah. No one has the weird fake beard.
Yeah. No, none of that. They are who they are, and I think that's the interesting visual sort of flip for the audience. We want them to see them as characters, and at a certain point, the pronouns that are being used sort of disappear into the characters and story. But it also asks us as audience to think a little bit about whose stories do we see, whose stories do we not see, and what does that mean for how we look at history. So it's, not trying to disguise the fact that they are women, femme, non-binary. We're embracing that, but the script actually does use the original explorers' names. It's he, him pronouns, but with this very diverse cast of fabulous humans.
Yeah. So, since you are a guest director, what attracted you to come here at UNO to direct this show?
That's a fabulous question. I have been yearning, is the only word I can think of, to work on this particular piece. Most of my work as a director lives in feminist, queer, contemporary new plays. And this is all of those things. Plus, ensemble for me as a director is so important, and this is a deeply ensemble-based play. So I've been yearning to work on this show. I have a very dear colleague who is a faculty member in your department who said, we're doing this show. We might need a guest director. To which I said, I've been yearning to do this show. And then all of those pieces fell in place. I teach in Washington State, so I was able to make those arrangements so that I could be here to work on the show and still teach remotely. But this is a piece that, since I read it for the first time, is really of interest because of its themes, because of the way it looks at bodies in space, because of the ensemble, and it's a movement piece, which I think is really fun to think about how we create rapids and the Grand Canyon in a theatrical space.
Yes. I don't remember who it was, but someone I was talking to described it as the Fast and Furious, but with boats.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. And the show goes quickly, too, because there's so many, it's really filmic in the way it changes locations, but also really beautifully theatrical in the ways that we're not putting full real boats on stage. There's no water, spoiler alert, but it does become that kind of Fast and the Furious with boats in a theatrical context. Yeah.
So if that is the case, who's Vin Diesel in this context?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I don't even know. I have some hunches, but yeah.
Or do we not need Vin Diesel?
We probably don't, not in this ensemble cast.
There we go. We're good.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like audiences to know going into this show?
I don't know that audiences need to know of the events of the journey because we tell them in the play. I think what they do need to know or to be aware of is that it is based on an actual historical event, but it asks us to really rethink about what history is and how it operates in the larger mythologies that we create, particularly in Western culture, about who's exploring where, who came first. The play is sort of embedded with questions about these white dudes who are exploring and naming things, and the natives after themselves, right? Yeah, Dunn's Peak, all of those things. But after the natives have certainly lived there for time immemorial, right? So
and had their own names for
exactly
all of the land that they lived in.
Yep, and a much deeper connection, perhaps, that we will go and explore it. So I think the audience, I mean, they will pick up on that, but just being aware of the history and being open to maybe rethinking how we think about these historical narratives and what that exposes about the mythologies we create around gender, around who can explore. Because believe it or not, there were women explorers at the time. Shock and awe, they were, right? But we just don't hear about them because of
all the history being written by the men.
Correct. Yeah, largely. So I think that for audiences just to be aware of that and to think about that. The details of the journey are less important because they'll see them. But the understanding of what the play is trying to do, I think, will enrich it for audiences.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting to an interview.
Absolutely, I'm happy to.
I'm very excited to see the show.
Good. When you coming?
Probably next Sunday.
Okay, great. Awesome.
But I'll be here tonight. So.
Great. Amazing. Are you going to take stuff while we work tonight?
Yep.
Fantastic.
To give audiences a brief sneak peek at the upcoming show.
Awesome. Little B-roll.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you for doing it, and thanks for having some time to talk.
Yeah. I'm glad I was able to.
Oars up! Oars out! Oars up! Oars out! And... Left! Keep left! Rocks!
Rocks right! Keep left! Hug the wall, Don! Oars hard! Left! Rocks! Rocks!
Passing rocks!
Clear! Clear! Forward! Swelling! Swelling! I see swelling! Major run!
Oh, steady! Steady then! Suddenly keep an eye on the swell! Warn the boats!
I say, how can you smoke and hoist a boat at the same time? OG taught me how to roll a cigarette while riding a horse.
Easy as guns, fish.
We did roll these before we left, though.
Wanted to keep things moving along.
Whoa, Sumner! Where'd you learn to fry a fish like that?
Friend of mine taught me. Met him up in the hills. We spent the summer tracking bears. Then in the winter, we went ice fishing.
Sounds like a nightmare. I hate the cold.
Once we pass through the big canyon, I'm moving up to the Yukon. People die of frostbite all the time in the Yukon. Well, that's how I want to go.
Good sinners, 10 fish on my plate. What a dish at any rate. 10 fish from the river. It took my heart, so I took its liver. 10 fish in my belly. Fish on tin gets my tin smelly. 10 fish time. 10 fish, fish sublime.
OG, we're getting pulled!
I feel it.
There's a bunch of deer bounding over.
Logan, I'm on the water. Keep rowing.
Oh no! Foam! It's foaming! White water!
Sharp left.
Left! So this is how Ashley's men died?
Shut up! Eyes ahead.
Whirlpool! It's too tight in the center!
Don't center.
Whirlpool!
Whirlpool, do not center. All boats, I repeat, do not center. Whirlpool!
Don't go through the center. Go around. Hug the wall.
Keep left!
great, those were the sextants. Thank God. Hand barometers. And a barrel full of, could it be?